Heya Cryptozens, it's 10 p.m. Pacific time. My name is Nikodemus, and welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter, where we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. Hey folks, welcome back to Leftover Night, where we take a look at stories we didn't get to from earlier in the week. And let's start off with Monday. Monday. Merge, verge, surge, purge, splurge. We thought we knew all of the phases of the Ethereum roadmap. We just saw the Ethereum network upgrade itself from a proof of work to a proof of stake currency in the form of the merge. The surge is scheduled to be next. And the goal of this phase is to see network process 100,000 transactions per second. Well, Vitalik Buterin is adding a new phase to the Ethereum technical roadmap, and it seems to come from OFAC of all things. Because this new phase, the Scourge, is meant to improve censorship resistance and decentralization. Now, censorship resistance has been a hot topic since the Office of Foreign Asset Control started sanctioning wallets and software. So this new roadmap sees the Scourge shoehorned in between surge and verge, then followed by purge and splurge. And the purpose of the Scourge is to, quote, ensure reliable and credibly neutral transaction inclusion and to avoid centralization and other protocol risks from MEV. And this call for a more credibly neutral consensus layer comes because some miners are known to exploit Ethereum transactions to their favor. So what Buterin means by credibly neutral is a system that, quote, does not discriminate for or against any specific people. And for MEV, he was talking about miner extractable value. And that's what happens when a miner front runs other miners by deciding what transactions will be handled in the block and in what order. This lets them duplicate their winning deals and execute their transactions ahead of anyone else looking for a profit. So this means that Ethereum has been associated with centralization and censorship ever since the merge. As it stands, 73% of the Ethereum blocks are compliant with OFAC's sanctions. So details about the Scourge aren't completely disclosed yet. We do know that Buterin recently proposed something called a partial block auction. This means that the block writer only gets to decide some of the contents of the block. Buterin also had news about the Verge. He said they would be integrating snark technology on Ethereum. This means improved privacy features while still allowing for anonymous transactions to be traceable. He also said a more explicit role for the quantum proofness will be implemented at different points in the Ethereum roadmap. He said that they were necessary components for the protocol's final state. Tuesday. The U.S. Treasury Department redesignated Tornado Cash as a sanctioned entity today. They also overtly accused North Korea of using the crypto mixing service to pay for its weapons of mass destruction program. So what this means is that the Treasury's Office of Foreign Asset Control said that they were delisting and redesignating Tornado Cash for its role as a privacy tool that pools transactions in order to disguise the senders and receivers. And so, OFAC is saying that North Korea has sent over $100 million worth of crypto through Tornado Cash. OFAC said that the money goes to support North Korea's missile program and the development of weapons of mass destruction. This is after Tornado Cash was first designated back in August. Treasury issued a press release that said, quote, this action is part of the United States' ongoing efforts to limit the DPRK's ability to advance its unlawful weapons of mass destruction and ballistic missile programs that threaten regional stability and follows numerous recent DPRK ballistic missile launches, which are in clear violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions. And we're talking about missiles like they've been launching recently that have been causing panics in South Korea and Japan. No damage. The missiles never struck dry land, but still causes panic. Additionally, OFAC applied their sanctions to North Korea's airline, Air Koryo, as well as 2 individuals that Treasury said were responsible for smuggling missile parts into North Korea. Brian Nelson is Treasury's Undersecretary for Terrorism and Financial Intelligence. He said, quote, "Today's sanctioned actions targets 2 keynotes of the DPRK's weapons programs. Its increasing reliance on illicit activities, including cybercrime, to generate revenue, and its ability to procure and transport goods in support of weapons of mass destruction and ballistic missile programs." Now, OFAC also put out a new FAQ to explain who they were putting on the list and their long-standing reasons for doing so. And this is because I and others have argued that Tornado Cash isn't a person. It's not an entity. It's not a group of people. What they're sanctioning is code. They're sanctioning math. And this is part of the argument submitted by Coinbase and CoinCenter in their lawsuits. They also allege that the sanctions are too broad, and as a consequence, the sanctions are hurting Americans. Specifically, those with their funds trapped on a platform they've been forbidden to interact with. That said, Treasury has published guidelines for U.S. citizens seeking to try and recover their funds. OFAC did say that the members of Tornado Cash's DAO aren't being sanctioned at this time, and neither are the founders. Wednesday. It looks like Kim Kardashian and Floyd Mayweather are going to win the civil suit that was brought against them. This suit said that the pair scammed investors with a cryptocurrency called Ethereum Max. A ruling was handed out from the U.S. District Judge Michael Fitzgerald. In his ruling, he accused the lawyers of trying to act like the SEC. Now, this is something called a tentative ruling. It's used to kind of give people a preview of which way that the court intends to rule before it actually gets to court. So last January, investors sued Mayweather and Kardashian. They accused the celebrities of working to pump the price of EMAX and then dumping them later on. Ethereum Max is a token that runs on the Ethereum blockchain. That said, like some people, EMAX was just famous for being famous. It was known for being promoted by celebrities, but it didn't seem to have any use or utility. Now, the judge also added that the celebrities didn't want to label the tokens as securities, quote, for obvious reasons. Earlier this month, Kardashian agreed to pay a $1.26 million fine for illegally shilling EMAX on her Instagram account. The SEC called it a crypto asset security. According to the SEC, Kardashian failed to disclose a payment for $250,000 as payment for publishing an Instagram post with instructions on how to purchase EMAX. Now, at the time, she put out an Instagram story that she called a big announcement. And in that posting, she talked about EMAX's tokenomics. So when the SEC's case was over, she didn't admit guilt or anything. However, the SEC chair Gensler later said that the SEC got involved because Kardashian's post failed to say how much she was paid to promote EMAX. That's a rule when you promote securities. In the meantime, Judge Fitzgerald said that he would be issuing a final written order in due time. Thursday. Chainlink Labs announced today that they have a product available that's designed to help resolve crypto's trust issues. Their Proof of Reserve product was announced on November 10th. It was in a tweet thread that Chainlink Labs asked their followers, quote, "Will crypto continue to repeat the mistakes of traditional black box financial industry, or will a better system emerge?" And they said that a better system is available. They offer Proof of Reserves as a way of providing transparency for the user. They said that POR is good for, quote, verifying centralized exchange asset reserves, off-chain bank account balances, cross-chain collateral, real-world asset reserves, and much more. This, of course, is in response to the biggest story in crypto right now, the Black Swan event of FTX. They've been processing withdrawals slowly, if at all, due to liquidity issues. And now, not only FTX, but the whole crypto market is being affected. In the aftermath, one solution to the trust issues that was offered was requiring exchanges to use a Proof of Reserve system. Now, Proof of Reserve is something that lets users audit the reserves an exchange is holding in real time. Some exchanges have already put such a system in place. In fact, Binance's CZ has said that all exchanges should offer this. However, other exchanges have said that this will take significant time for them to implement. Enter Chainlink Labs, because they say that their product is an out-of-the-box solution, which means exchanges can just stand up their own system immediately. And simply put, what Chainlink's system does is verify off-chain assets and reflect the amounts of those assets on-chain. So they're hooking their Chainlink nodes to the exchange's API. These nodes are all linked to a proof of reserve smart contract. And it's a pretty decent solution from what I can see. The smart contract can be queried by anyone on the network. And the query is basically, do they have more assets than liabilities? Now, so far, Binance has posted a page called Proof of Assets. This page clearly details Binance's activity for both hot and cold wallets, although, to be clear, they didn't use Chainlink's system when they set their own up. Friday. Would you trust a dog with your fortune? If you said no, you're clearly not thinking like a cryptocurrency exchange. One of the effects of the collapse of FTX is likely to be the proliferation of proof of reserves. People are going to want transparency into the platforms that they trust their money on. And I think this is going to extend beyond exchanges. I think we're going to see proof of reserves for most parts of the crypto space that deal with custodying other people's money. And while full-on proof of reserve disclosures aren't a thing yet, Crypto.com is one exchange that has taken a preliminary step of sharing wallet addresses with Nansen. Nansen is a blockchain analytics firm, and Nansen has created a dashboard that shows Crypto.com's nearly $3 billion worth of reserves and assets. And there are a number of things that you would expect to see on that list, and you do. Bitcoin makes up 30% of their holdings. Ethereum makes up 17.19%. Now, what's interesting is how much Crypto.com has invested in Shiba Inu. And while I know there has been interest into making Shib into a more serious cryptocurrency, most consider it to be a meme token inspired by a joke token. And it's very volatile. So, roughly $558 million of Crypto.com's reserves are in Shiba Inu. That's more than they are storing in Ethereum. The exchange only has 487 million in Ethereum. So you think about that. It seems weird, right? Maybe not, because a spokesperson said, quote, "The reason our proof of reserves include Shiba is because we hold customers' balances one-to-one. Thus, our proof of reserves are dictated by our customer holdings." So they're holding so much Shib because their users are holding so much Shib. Martin Lee is a data journalist at Nansen, and he said that the large amount of Shiba Inu is a direct reflection of the interest of their customers. He said, quote, "In an ideal world, we'd want the best assets to be worth the most. But Shib and Doge both have extremely high market caps. Not super surprising that retail-heavy exchanges will have a higher concentration of such tokens. And regardless, as an exchange, your main source of revenue would likely be trading fees. So whether it's meme coins or more fundamentally sound assets, your business model is intact." So, serious token or meme coin, Shib is still one of the most popular cryptocurrencies out there. They have a $5.74 billion market cap and a 24-hour trading volume of about $350 million. And we're going to leave it there for the night. I want to thank you, my listeners, because when you stop listening, I will stop talking. We'll see you tomorrow night.